What's up, guys? Welcome to our first YouTube video on Meet the Meadows channel. We have just had some people asking or telling us to do a YouTube channel, so we're finally excited to actually do it. I am Easton Meadows, and this is my wife, Caitlin, and we have our little...
She's not ours, but this is Nellie. This is my parents' dog, and we dog napped her for a week. So.
We dog napped her for a week. So she's gonna be in it with us. She's gonna be helping us tell our story of how we dated, how we were engaged, and now we're 1 year into marriage. So we just want to tell you this story to encourage you, maybe help you out in a certain season that you're in. And then a lot of people just ask how we met, how long it took us, or how long we were engaged for, and how long we've been married. So we're just gonna kind of give you brief sections of each season of our life so far.
People always comment like on our TikToks and like, what, you only dated for 2 months and you were married 3 months later, and they're like, what, that's so crazy. And so now we're gonna tell you the full story. So this was probably 1.5 years ago, is that right?
Yeah.
And I was living with this family, and they were going to this gym that Easton was a coach at, and so we kind of knew of each other. He was going to the church that we go to now, and so we knew of each other, but we weren't like friends. But they would always say like, I don't know, like he would come over, get his hair cut, so we kind of knew each other. Yeah,
so we never hung out, and then randomly I was kind of coming into a season of finding God and starting a relationship with God. And in this moment, I just had a random dream. Okay, I've never talked to Caitlin before, other than the one time I coached her like 1 year or 2 before that. And I had a random dream of Caitlin standing on a mountaintop with a valley behind her, and it was like prominent in the dream. Like when I woke up, I was like, Caitlin standing on a mountain on air with a valley behind her. So I was like, that was weird. And fast forward I think a day or two, and I was at the gym, and the people she lived with, she came up to me and she's like, hey, you should come to this worship night at this silo. Caitlin and I went like yesterday or whatever. And so then I was like, oh, no way, I have to tell Caitlin something. I had a dream about her. And you can explain your part now.
So the same night that Easton had a dream of me on the mountain, I was at that worship night, and the pastor had called me out, and he told me he saw me on a mountain and there was a valley behind me, and the valley kind of represented like an old relationship that I got out of, and now I was on this new place with the Lord, free. I had workout clothes on, and he was like, does any of that like mean anything to you? And at the time, I just remember like feeling the Holy Spirit, and I was like started to cry, but I didn't really know what it meant. I just knew it was from the Lord. And so then when he came up to me and told me about the dream, I was just like blown away, because it was the same picture that this pastor had told me. So then we went back to that worship night together then the next night, and some friends, and that's kind of how we started hanging out. And that night Easton actually got baptized, so that was kind of cool. I took a video of him, he got baptized. It was really just like this moment of like just becoming friends and pursuing the Lord together. And then fast forward a couple weeks later, I had my, was it 22nd birthday? And I invited some friends, and this is when we just started becoming close. So I invited him, and then I feel like that was when we kind of were like, I don't know,
that we knew we liked each other.
Yeah, kind of. But like neither one of us had said anything. It was just then we were kind of like, wait. And I remember all my friends were like, I don't know, like, who is that guy? Like, he was kind of new, and everyone was kind of thinking that we were together, even though we really weren't. It was like this little like, yeah. So then,
flirty stage.
Yeah. Okay, anyways. So then after my birthday party and going forward, Easton started texting me. And I was the type of person where I like wasn't just texting guys just to text. And so I was kind of like, do I respond? Do I not respond? Do I like him? I don't know. And so I had dinner with the family that I was living with, or pastors at our church, and just super wise. And so I remember asking them like for advice and telling them that Easton had been reaching out to me. And it was like the first time they ever were like, yes, like we love him, he's great, man of integrity, kind of like telling me like you should give it a chance. And I think that was like really confirming in my heart of like, okay, these people really have the best in mind for me, and they've told me in the past like maybe like no or whatever. And so the fact that they were so for it, I was like, okay. So then he asked me out on a date, I think, and we went on a date. Actually, there was probably like a month of us like talking and going on dates, and then he officially asked me out.
Well, I asked her out because she came back from California, and basically, as she was telling me about the trip, told me that basically that I better move fast, because she has options or something.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said, I realize I have.
No, I felt like, that's not what I said.
Yeah, it is.
I said I felt like I was like waiting for 1,000,001 confirmations, and I feel like the Lord was like, no, it's just a choice. Like, you're pursuing me, your heart's aligned with me. There's like, I could choose Easton or I could choose someone else, but like at the end of the day, it still comes down to like a choice. Like, you don't need 1,000,000 confirmations. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna choose Easton. Keep going.
So we're about a month and a half in or so, and I started just feeling like I feel more mature, like especially with the Lord. I felt just like I was ready to take the next step. So I kind of just thought about it. I would mention it here and there, of getting engaged, and then I'd go back and forth like, oh no, that's way too early, or yes, like let's do it. And then finally I'm like, well, here we go. We're gonna buy a ring. And so
you had talked to my parents, talked to
yeah,
my family.
So I made sure I kind of had a list of people, like her closest friends, her family, my family, and just went down the list and talked to our pastors as well, and talked to each one of them face to face, and just was saying, hey, what do you think about this? Have I done things right? Do you think we're ready for this? And just kind of getting everyone's blessing, and everybody was on board, and so I knew Kate would appreciate that. And so my mom and I went and got the ring, and you can tell what happened.
Okay, so I was not, like, I knew we were not just dating to date, like we were dating to marry it, but I still had no idea that it would be a month and a half, 2 months later. So I was so surprised, but I had gotten asked by this family that I nannied for, do you want to come out to Arizona? You can watch the kids, get like a free vacation out of it. So I kind of had this whole trip planned, and they said that Easton can come along. And so I was like, oh yeah, like super fun. And we had like 1 or 2 days like where we could just go do whatever without the kids and the family. And so we were looking up like pretty places to hike, and like some friends and internet whatever said to go to Sedona, and I had never been there. So I was like, in my mind I'm thinking like, I planned this whole thing, I hadn't really looked at rings with you. Like, I did not think getting engaged on this trip was like even on the radar at all. And then we were hiking, and we got to like this like top part, and then that's when he was like, let's take a picture or something, and he like set up his camera, still wasn't thinking anything, and then he proposed.
Yeah, well, you thought, so my birthday was in April, we were there in February.
Yeah.
And she thought, well, maybe in a couple more months, because her family and my family, we planned a trip to Florida, so it was already planned. And she's like, oh, he'll probably just do it down there.
Yeah, I totally thought it was good, because that would have been like 5 months of dating, or both of our families. Like, I just totally thought that was when it was gonna happen. So this was like, when he started proposing, I was like, I don't even remember what he said. And like, I feel like
we'll just put the video on the screen.
Yeah, we'll put the video.
We did it.
We're getting married. I was like so surprised. It was super sweet. Right after we had like got engaged, there was a couple people that were hiking, and we were like went off to this like weird place, but they came around and they were like, oh my gosh, like I asked if they could take a picture of us, and one of them ended up being a photographer. She took our pictures, so they were amazing. And then this other girl said, I'm actually came out here to like pray for people today, and she ended up praying for us on the spot. So that was like totally from the Lord that those girls came along, and it's just crazy like looking back at how the Lord like totally just showed up there. And then moving forward.
So after we got engaged, we already had a trip planned to Florida with her family and my family. And so we're like, well, we got engaged in 2 months, so we might as well just get married just as soon as that. So we decided we found a venue down there, someone that sets up the wedding. It was, like I said, her family, so mom, dad, and sister, and then me, my 2 sisters, my mom and dad, and then the family she used to live with, who was one of our pastors, his wife, and 2 kids. So that was it, and then also my niece. And so we all went down there. There was 12 of us. We stayed in an Airbnb. We stayed there for I think 6 or 7 days. April 15th was my birthday. I turned 21 years old, and then our wedding was the 19th. So we got down there, we just hung out by the beach and the pool. That was my birthday, so we gotta go to dinner and just have a fun night, and then just gotta keep hanging out just in Florida and stuff until the actual wedding. But the day before the wedding was super special.
So the day before the wedding, we wanted to go see where we were actually gonna get married out on the beach. And then the wildest thing happened, and our pastor, the guy that actually we've been talking about, shared about it from the stage at our church on Sunday. So we're gonna show you that clip.
I was talking about you guys and your wedding just the other day. It was so fun how we were celebrating your guys coming together as one, a covenant before God. Best trip ever, by the way. Had so much fun with you guys. And it was just a few days before the wedding that your sister approached me and said, this is going to be really awkward that I'm asking you this, but I've never been baptized before. Would you be willing to baptize me? I was amped. I said, absolutely, I'll baptize you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to serve. And her faith was contagious. All of a sudden, her sister raised her hand and said, I want to be baptized, actually. Her sister's husband said, you know what, I've never been baptized, I want to be baptized. Kate's parents said, you know what, we haven't been baptized, we want to be baptized too. At this point, it's like 75% of the wedding party is like wanting to be baptized. It's amazing. It's amazing. So the night before the wedding, we did a spontaneous trip to the beach. And we went on the beach and we started sharing this. Really, actually, when we were on the way to the beach, I started sensing, I don't want to ever judge someone's motives, but I just know me. I know sometimes I can get really caught up in the moment and kind of submit to hype rather than really think about what I'm doing. Anybody here just kind of walk impulsively? I got 2 hands in the air. My business partner knows that for sure. That's why he's my business partner. Keeps me in check, and my wife does. She keeps me in check too. Anyway, so as we're preparing to baptize them, I just prayed. I said, Lord, what do you want to speak to these people? And he brought me to the scripture where Jesus is telling his disciples to count the cost of following him. Because Jesus didn't die for believers. He died for followers. There's a difference. We believe, we're saved by our faith, which is our belief, but our faith needs to produce something. Our faith must produce works. It must produce fruit. It must produce a lifestyle of following him. Jesus said even the demons believe. He's not impressed by belief. He's impressed by faith. And faith follows. And so I said, if you want to follow Jesus, this is what you're signing up for. You're not signing up for a life of comfort. You're not signing up for a better day. You're signing up to exit a season, death to that season, to receive a divine assignment, to be one with him, to have a walking, working relationship with him, and to follow him and to make his name known while you're here on planet Earth. It means you lay down your life. It means you're even willing, the Bible says, you're even willing to lose relationships. Your love for God must be so much that in comparison, it's like hate towards other people. Are you willing to lose critical relationships in your life to follow this Jesus? I like to throw a stick of dynamite in the water sometimes when I preach, just to see if anybody's going to walk out. And I do that because my heart is that was Jesus' heart. He wanted to see if they were really all in. And so I shared that message and I said, are you guys still willing to get baptized? And they doubled down. They said, we want to get baptized. They start crying. Everyone starts crying. We start sharing one-word testimonies of who we were before knowing Jesus, or who we were after knowing Jesus, or who we want to be after giving our lives to Jesus. And as we're doing that, the other 25% of the wedding party gave their life to Jesus. Yeah. Logistically, it's crazy. We were like getting ready to baptize everybody, and then one of the other guys said, you know what? I want to get baptized. I want to give my life to Jesus. I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of dealing with these things. I want freedom. And this other girl said, you know what? I want the same thing. 100% of the wedding party got baptized the day before their wedding. It was amazing. It was so beautiful. We go into the water. They got the opportunity to baptize your family with me in the water. It was a holy moment. And it was so cool that it was right before this wedding, which was, a covenant before God. And the reason why I shared that story is because I'm just seeing, in the midst of everything going on in the world right now, I'm seeing God's Spirit poured out on the earth. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing revival.
So super wild, super fun. The next day we got married and the whole morning was kind of rainy, and I was like writing my vows the morning of with my sister, and just, yeah, super typical of us. But then like literally an hour before we actually got married, the sun came out. It was a pretty sunset. It wasn't too hot because it had rained earlier. Like, it was honestly so perfect. And then we ended up staying down there for an extra like week or so for our honeymoon. So such a blast. And now we're a year and 2 months married, just bought a house.
So yeah, that's our story. We hope this blesses you and that you can maybe learn from it. Comment down below what other videos you want to see. We want to start creating more YouTube videos, whether it's vlogs or teaching videos. So if you have ideas, comment them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button down below. Also, click on the link in the description for our merch.
@forhim_clothing. Go follow us on social media. We have new shirts and tanks coming out. We're on a mission to bring God glory. We love you. Peace out.